Welcome back to Peace, Love and Tarot. This reading is for Libra, Sun, Moon or Rising, and it's the weekly reading for December 9th to the 15th. Libra, we have the Akasha Oracle card here for you. First time I've actually seen this one come out, and I've owned these cards for several months now. We've got the Four of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, the Four of Wands, the Fool, the King of Cups, and the Strength card. So half the spread is major arcana, and the more major arcana in the spread, the more significant the event that you're dealing with, and the more closely it usually links to the big themes in life, the life lessons, karmic contracts. Obviously the Fool and the Wheel of Fortune are not subtle energies at all. They're very powerful. We have obviously big completion, big beginnings here. We also have two number fours, fours being the number of stability and foundation. So these can be things like your personal values, your relationship, your home, the big themes that actually derive your sense of stability from. So I'm just going to start off by reading out that oracle card to kick us off. Akasha. Your guidance is divinely guided. Akasha exists in the fifth dimension and the library of souls. All soul contracts, history, gifts, lessons, and more exist here. We each have access to this information of the past, present, and future and can tap into it any time. While we have free will, there are also points on the timeline of our lives that are predestined or pre-planned. Soul contracts or agreements that were made before incarnating. It could be a company you chose to work for, a relationship you plan to have, or a person you agreed to mentor or help. Whatever it is, know that is divinely guided and will not bypass you. Well, isn't that very fitting with the Wheel of Fortune there, guys? So, yeah, I mean, I think some of you are completing a karmic contract, a soul contract at the moment. I really feel that that's probably why we have this Four of Swords here. Going to start here, recent past. I think some of you are in that kind of pause, that interim state where you might have completed a relationship, you might have completed that job, maybe you're still in the throes of that at the moment, but the Four of Swords is kind of like that aftermath where you need to take a bit of a breather to rest and regenerate, to heal and to prepare yourself before you step into your next chapter. We have the link here too to the Three of Swords, so it can talk about taking time out to heal and heal out the wounds of the heart, to release any sorrow or grief, that kind of thing. And it's really about reformulating a new battle plan, thinking about your next move, where you're going to head to next. And it's kind of like, when you rest and you retreat and you take that time out, so you reach that tipping point when you know it's time to grab that sword and jump back into the dance of life. So I think some of you, possibly have been in this phase for a while. I feel like it is that kind of in-between state where you're kind of in between chapters. That's what I really feel there with that Four of Swords. And that is because there is something very big here coming for you, Libra, and that is the Wheel of Fortune. So sometimes we kind of get the sense that great change is upon us, and we're sort of, having a little bit of a hibernation period, to prepare ourselves for it. So this Wheel of Fortune says that, you are reaching a big completion here. I mean, we're wrapping up that decade very soon, guys, just in a couple of weeks. And as part of that process, a lot of situations or people, relationships, jobs, anything that doesn't, serve us and isn't aligned with our higher purpose is being released. And if it's not being released, then people are holding on to it and stagnating and having difficulties. But I can see here in the cards here that I think you've already gone through the release. This wheel is now ready to turn. It's a luck change in your favor. So the Wheel of Fortune talks about the completion of those soul contracts, and it is said to have a 10-year energy. So I feel like the decisions that you make over the course of this week, or the weeks either side of this, could actually have an impact on your next chapter, your next decade. It's a very powerful energy. It just says that it is time to, it is divine timing. And the situation that you leaving was probably something that you agreed to before you incarnated, if you believe that. And you had something pivotal to either learn through that, or you had some karma to pay. Either way, you were meant to experience that, and it was divine timing, it was predestined. But this is saying that the wheel is saying that it's completed now, and it's time for you to go on to the next thing that you agreed to. So I feel like, after this wheel's turned and sort of in this process, then we might need to go through a little bit of, recalibration here. It's almost like a continuation from that Four of Swords. We have Strength and we have the King of Cups, because, even though change can be a beautiful thing, it can also be scary, taking a leap of faith and, trusting a path where we don't actually know where we might be heading to in the future can be difficult, and may need us to have greater strength and courage in order to follow it. So the Strength card talks about, taming our inner demons, those sides of ourselves that might be, out of balance, back into harmony. And when we do that, we actually unlock our greatest potential. The Strength card also talks about balancing those feelings and emotions with their equal opposite in order to balance them. So, for example, if you have any resent or anger or, guilt or shame from that previous situation, then we would meet that with, compassion, kindness, and forgiveness. And it's kind of like the antidote that neutralizes or balances, that energy for you. And from that place, you become more powerful. And the King of Cups is definitely saying to you that compassion is one of the key emotions or skills, if you will, that you will need to tap into this week. Because that King of Cups, he knows that, being compassionate and mature and grounded is the key to weathering the storm, to staying stable when, the emotions get tumultuous, when we're kind of riding the tide of something, greater, that sometimes we feel like it's more than we can handle. But through, keeping in balance and being compassionate and calm and grounded, that's how we can move forward in the right direction for us. So I think you really need to evoke that King of Cups energy this week, Libra. And, just through being, in balance and grounded and compassionate, that's a great place from which to start a beautiful new journey. Because we have the Fool energy, guys, one of the strongest cards of New Beginning in the Tarot deck. Now, the thing about the Fool, I was talking about, that can be a little bit scary for some, is that this invites you to take a leap of faith, to walk a new path, to make a fundamental change, even though you don't know where that path is leading, what that destination may be. But it's about taking the first tentative steps on that journey and just trusting the process, having hope, having faith, making instinctual decisions to move forward. It is a card of divine guidance. We have divinity here with the Wheel of Fortune. We also have that in the Four of Wands. But what this is saying is, even though you might not know it now about where you're heading, the promise is that you're heading somewhere great with that Four of Wands. And that Four of Wands is about stability, security, joyful times, abundance, finding soul partners and relationships, celebrating life. It also talks about that 11-11 formation there, so synchronicity, destiny, as does the Wheel of Fortune. So I feel like you are moving into a time that is definitely predestined. Look out for the signs, synchronicities from the universe this week. So for example, when you're driving your car and you pull up at the lights and the number plate in the car in front of you says something that is meaningful to you, that phone call that comes out of the blue when your friend, mentions something that gives you a great idea, that kind of thing. And that could be a key to the peace that you need to start this new journey. But either way, you are being invited to take that leap, Libra. And the Fool asks you to tap into that rebel heart energy, which for me means to follow what feels like it's in true alignment with you, with your true purpose, with your, your soul's work here. What is it that you truly want to do? What path would you walk if you knew that you would be supported and guided by the universe? Because you are being divinely guided this week. And just remember that all the knowledge and wisdom you require, is within you and also outside of you. And you can call on the universe to bring that to you because you have that Akasha energy around you this week. So Libra, I'm going to leave it there. I wish you all the best with what could be a truly powerful week. Keep in mind it is a general reading, so it won't be for every one of you guys. Feel free to leave me a comment. I'd love to know how it's playing out in your daily life, and I'll see you back here next week for another reading.